kahit this start lang. Ano man, podcast. Mas mas pag pinahinggan mo yung podcast ni Ken Jeong tsaka ni Joel McHale, sobrang wala silang silang intro spiel eh. Tapos okay lang naman.
I mean like, okay, this podcast doesn't actually have an intro spiel. Seryoso, as in like, no, anyway, so this is whatever this is.
Sa stream ko, wala din akong intro spiel eh. Sa Summoners War videos ko, doon lang ako may intro spiel. Pero
we'll get to that later, but first,
pero
let's
wala
introduce
talaga.
our guest for this week's episode. This week, as if this show is weekly. No. Due to the current events as to when this episode was recorded, wala si Seilei. Seilei is in Laguna right now with his family and in quarantine as with the rest of us. And this is kind of like a measure. There was supposed to be an episode, but again, due to current events, mukhang hindi mangyayari for some time. So, nagkaroon kami ng other plans. Our guest for this episode is someone who is a very close friend sa akin, at least. We've been friends for a very long time. And basically, taga dito siya. And that's basically the only excuse I can come up with na to even do this episode to begin with. So, ito si Kuroshiroe.
Yeah, hi.
He is what we can say, a video game streamer. Actually, I am very interested to see na ang isa mga pinaka-close friends ko is actually like a legit video game streamer in some sense.
Legit. Quote-unquote, legit.
In air quotes.
Legit, quote-unquote.
Maybe I should move this kasi mukhang...
Yeah.
Kuroshiroe here is one of the few people na kilala ko, and actually the one I'm actually pretty close to, who is actually supposedly like quote-unquote legit video games.
Quote-unquote talaga.
Video game streamer. But the numbers do count. You have at least 300 followers on Facebook. No, seriously, like
263 pa lang.
263.
Oh.
I mean
wala
that's
pang 300.
like as of the recording of this, this channel has 15 subscribers in it. So parang
nice. Pero mas legit yung sa YouTube ba to sa
YouTube.
So para sa akin mas legit yung subscribers sa YouTube kaysa sa Facebook kasi mas sobrang dali lang kasi na ng follow culture sa Facebook compared sa subscribe culture sa
bagay,
YouTube.
yeah, I guess that's the thing. And it's also the fact that we don't really upload videos all that often. And especially because I am the editor of the channel.
Tignan natin pag nilipat ko ibang videos ko na sa YouTube, tignan ko kung ano mangyayari.
Maybe you should do that and maybe like do a stream extract channel.
Yeah.
Anyway, so ito yung general background natin. So tell us so far, like, how did you get your following ba so far? Like, how did you start up and who gave you the idea to even start the channel to begin with?
Actually, kaya ko in-start yung channel is...
Well, okay. Let's, I say channel, but let's make
it's
this
a page.
clear.
It's a Facebook page.
Yeah, totally ibang platform kasi na pinag-usapan dito. It's a Facebook page.
Facebook page. So, kaya ko siya na-start dahil pina-follow ko kasi si Elodia sa YouTube. And nakita ko yung company niya na Tier 1 Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Tapos from there, madaming nag-stream sa Facebook. And parang ito yung sa tingin ko mas abot ko na audience kaysa dun sa Twitch. Kasi I don't really plan on monetizing on this page, yung Facebook page ko. Tapos parang natuwa din ako na I can actually play with people. Parang, kaya ko lang din talaga ginawa yung channel is, gusto ko sana makalaro yung mga subscribers ko. Pero yung mga followers pala. Pero due to internet stuff, parang, ang hirap pala magkaroon na, ang hirap palang makalaban ng
like
real-time interaction na sa mga followers mo. Pag hindi maganda yung internet mo. Kasi uploads, lalo na sa fighting games, sobrang halaga ng upload speed. Parang pag may konting lag lang, sobrang hindi na siya fun for all of you. Hindi katulad sa MOBAs o kaya dun sa mga turn-based na mga strategy games na mobile games.
Or single player games in
Or single player games in general. May mga streamers din na gano'n. Pero hindi kasi ako storytelling person eh. So at least sa paglalaro ng game. So mas at least mas feel ko na mas good ako on reacting on being pummeled, or pag nakagawa ko ng medyo magandang combo. Parang feeling ko nandun yung appeal ko as a streamer.
It's very,
at least yun yung naisip ko.
Intuitive and like reactive lang talaga kasi like it's almost like what's going on yung mismo, like you illustrate. See, we'll get to that part ng background mo, but I guess this is just first let's start like putting in the layers. Na una, you were already a fighting game enthusiast even before you started being a streamer.
Yes.
So you just kind of formalized it na lang kasi when you started the Kuroshiroe channel, the page, you were already just basically yung unang mong goal, as far as I know, you've told me, was that you wanted to do like tutorial vids for beginners din talaga. And then that kind of just changed into, okay, so I am just doing random online matches na lang.
Kasi tawag doon, tutorial vids are hard. Kailangan mo yung pagplanuhan kung ano yung mga i-capture na ituro doon. Tapos madami na din kasi tutorial vids, especially sa Tekken. Pero actually, yun ang nangyari sa akin ngayon. Yung original ko na goal na gumawa ng mga tutorial vids. Tapos yun nga, nag-random online Tekken matches ako. Pero actually, bumalik din ako dun sa dun sa part na gumagawa pa rin ako ng mga tutorial videos sa Tekken. Tapos actually, nagugulat ako na yun yung mas pinapansin ng mga tao ngayon. Kasi most ng mga tutorial videos ay may in-expect sila na certain level ng skill sa mga players, na parang at least intermediate level ka to kunyari at least top 50% ka ng player base dapat. Tapos walang masyadong gumagawa ng paano sa mga lower 50 percentile nung active player base. So parang at least din yung niche ng mga ibang tutorial videos ko. Actually, yung tutorial videos ko na ngayon yung medyo mas nag-click. Maliban doon sa mga comeback videos ko.
Wait, define.
Comeback, COMEBACK. Parang yung malapit ka ng matalo tapos biglang mananalo pa yung character mo. Parang yun yung mga pinaka nakakuha na views sa page ko. Yung tinanong ni Hez kanina about paano ko nakuha yung following ko. May ginawa akong hindi maganda sa simula, which is follow for follow back. Tapos sobrang hindi siya maganda for the growth of your channel. Siguro maganda lang siyang gawin para lang ma-achieve mo yung minimum requirement na 100 followers para matanggap ka sa level up program ng Facebook, para makatanggap ka ng stars and donations.
I didn't know about this kind of program din na
Ayun, may level up program yung Facebook. Tapos basta sina Alodia, sina Trike Gutierrez yung isa mga pinaka-promotor kung paano nagkaroon ng level up program dito sa Facebook sa Philippines at least. So thanks to them kasi parang nagkaroon ng opportunities yung madaming streamers dito small streamers at least dito sa Philippines. Kahit na wala kang masyadong sponsors, pwedeng buhayin ka ng community mo. So yun, nagtry ako ng follow for follow back. Doon din sa mismong Tier 1 na group. Parang fans ng Tier 1 Entertainment na group. Tapos yun, naabot ko naman yung minimum na 100 na followers. Pero dahil artificial nga, tapos most naman na hindi naman talaga interested sa channel mo. Parang sobrang inorganic, tapos hindi mo talaga na-grow yung group mo, yung community mo. So I don't suggest you doing that. Mas maganda pa rin yung mag-produce ka ng content. Tapos, if you're interesting enough, parang, you will grow eh. Tapos, yung pinakamataas na growth ko dito is yung time na regularly akong nagpo-post. Doon yata from 150 naging 260 na ako na followers.
Yeah, the internet likes it in general whenever if you post regularly talaga. Although it can be said that super contrasting siya with yung scheme ng channel na to. This one, the 8 Dimension channel, because it's completely different kasi it's like when Sile and I talked din kasi like when we started this channel, it's very much of a as is kind of thing. That the whole idea with us starting the podcast to begin with was talagang kung ano man lang talaga yung what we actually do come up with at the moment, and then that's just what we upload, and then there's no particular plan for content or anything other than the fact that maybe we should just like record more of these in general. So there is no actual content plan. So this is like literally anything can be uploaded on this channel, and we're as much as possible, I'm trying to avoid na magkaroon din ng theme yung channel namin, because I kind of, well, aside from the obvious general nerd stuff, because that's kind of what we are and what the audience is. Like, who else is gonna watch our content kung hindi
Wait,
rin
ilan yung nakukuha na views nung nung mga pinopost nyo?
Okay. So, should we just look at the analytics?
Pwede naman
Kasi meron ako access sa analytics page ko.
Actually, isa yung sa mga fun na parts ng pagkakaroon ng page, yung makita mo yung analytics ng ng mga videos
I
mo.
guess for
Natutuwa
us,
ako.
parang, I guess we're getting like this interesting like satisfaction
Like,
from it.
parang, ilan yung maabot sa ganitong part, ilan yung nakakatapos talaga
yeah,
lang.
kasi especially for YouTube, they actually do that now kasi they prioritize watch minutes as yung bagong form nila ng ano.
Kasi sa Facebook, yung views na metric na nakikita nyo, yun kahit na 1 second lang na view yun, kinakount nila yun So, medyo deceiving siya.
It's
so
page clicks. Kaya siguro maybe that's why in the creator studio or whatever, meron specific statistic for page clicks sa Facebook.
May ganun.
I think ganun siya.
Sa akin kasi meron din may 3-second views, tapos may 10-second views, tapos may
well, let's see.
Pero pwede mo din kasi makita yung mga average minutes views.
Well, so far, okay, so here is yung namin, yung right now ang pinaka namin na video is a meme. There's a meme that's a meme video for 138 views. The episode 3 of the podcast, which is about VTubers, for 103. Another meme for 163. And then yung latest video namin was, the Hololive guessing game, which had 43 views.
Pero yan, long form
yes, this is
long
a
form
long
na
form
kasi.
video.
So,
like, if you look at our channel, you'll see that the videos on there are very long in general, because like the podcast episodes are at least an hour long. The newest video is 36 minutes. So yeah, you can see these take pretty much a huge time talaga to process.
So yun, at least hindi ko kasi alam kung paano kinakount ang views sa
sa YouTube. It's again, as I said, it's watch hours. Like alam ko like the minimum amount required para makapag-apply ka sa YouTube Partner Program is a certain number of subscribers and certain number of watch hours per month.
Nice. So na-achieve nyo na yun?
Well, here's the thing. Sally and I have never really planned on monetizing the channel to begin with. Kasi ayaw niya. Okay, this is new to me. Because Kuroshiroe here has opened up things sa phone niya.
Tapos tinitignan ko din yung...
Yeah, post insights.
Tinitignan ko yung mga mas maganda to sa Facebook kaysa doon sa phone. Kasi doon makikita mo kung ilan yung actual na minutes viewed
Dito rin. Makikita mo yung minutes viewed.
So, meron isang video na parang sobrang proud ako na madami siyang as of this sitting may 19.3 thousand views siya.
Wait, what is
Pero 19.3k views siya.
okay. Yan yata yung sinasabi ko rin kasi na some of yung content kasi na is like short clips.
Mga 20 second clips. Parang yan, siguro hanggang doon lang talagang attention span natin.
No, it's more of that. If ito din kasi yung very interesting thing about the Facebook platform. I'm not sure if this counts pero it probably does kung ang dami-daming parang yung number of views is that because if you're on Facebook and if you follow a page as a user of Facebook yung videos ng isang content creator will actually be posted dun sa newsfeed.
Yeah.
And for a lot of mobile devices and some PCs actually, it will the default setting is always to autoplay it. So, ang interesting thing is that I think Facebook counts that as views.
Kinakount niya as views. Kaya ang mas interesting sa akin actually is computing yung average na
watch time,
which you can compute kasi may total minutes viewed naman siya.
Alam ko rin there's a
metric.
metric.
Divide mo by the total number of views. Tapos totoo yung actually, at least doon lang sa particular video na yon. At least 90% nung length ng video yung average view. Kaya parang pero nalulungkot ako na na doon lang sa mga videos na gano'n, sa mga comeback tsaka sa mga combo videos lang
It's probably
mataas.
because they're probably the most likely to get reposted. Again, yun din kasi yun I think there's another hidden metric. There's also the fact na alam ko that Facebook measures click-throughs. So, in a sense na, as I said, autoplays through newsfeed exposure. Pero, if you decide to, if a user actually decides to actually click through the link and watch the video, that's isa pang metric. I think
meron din siya dito. Actually, mababa lang yung...
Sa post-engagements ang tawag ng Facebook.
Clicks to play ay 478.
Clicks to play.
Clicks to play 478. Uy, mataas din. Kita paano. Nice.
Yeah, so this ended up being like a short detour. No, detour. This is the detour. This podcast is the detour.
Yeah.
into a bit of the workings of the
Ang nagugulat ako actually is may mga following ako sa ibang bansa. Like Malaysia yata o Indonesia. Hindi ko sure
Nakikita mo, di ba?
Nakikita ko. Tapos may mga nag-share talaga. Tapos, pero ngayon kasi wala ako masyadong ma-post ng mga ganong content kasi hindi ako nakakapag-laro online dahil ang bagal ng internet ngayon. Kaya wala akong highlights to post. Kaya biglang nag-tangent ako ng games from Tekken to Summoners War and then now Grand Blue. Tapos mukhang hindi masyadong gusto ng
to clarify, this specifically means Grand Blue Fantasy versus the
fighting game, not the browser.
Not the browser game. Kasi kung actually hindi. I was going to say something na you would have avoided being in the trap of being a streamer who plays gacha games, but you already play Summoners War.
Yeah, naglaro ng Summoners War.
That counts
Gacha game siya. Sobrang gacha game niya.
I'm not sure how much of a following that game has.
Hindi ko alam kung hanggang ngayon, pero last year parang third most popular game siya sa Play Store.
Sa Play Store,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ang interesting thing na nangyari sa Summoners War is it got massively popular in the last few years. At the time. Kasi I began to see PV ads for it.
Yeah. Si Alison Brie tsaka si Dave Franco, isa sa mga promotor namin yung dati.
Sab namin.
Yeah. Summoners War. Woo!
Pero, I mean, okay, so, a full disclosure, really, really long ago, I actually did used to play this game.
Yeah. Binadger ko siya into playing it.
Yeah, and my sister, and several other of my, actually, friends ng kapatid ko. Friends siguro, okay, sila, kasi friends ng kapatid ko I think actually, in that case, specifically, it was friends ng kapatid ko and you simultaneously badgering her to play Summoner's War. Yeah. Anyway, so if in case anybody doesn't know what the game is, because it's likely to. I mean, of course, we're in an age where mobile games are pretty much being like heavily promoted on
Check
YouTube.
it out on YouTube. Tignan niyo yung mga Summoners War, yung newest Summoners War trailer. Tapos, pag hindi kayo na-hype doon, wala kayong puso. Joke lang. Sobrang naging commercial na to for Summoners.
Yeah, it's more of that's on you. That's on you. I do not take responsibility for what has happened to this stream. This episode of whatever this is not sponsored by Konto US.
Actually, hina-hijack ko na tong part na to ng podcast. Ano talaga to eh. Agent talaga. Kaya lang talaga ako nag-agree dito ay promote yung Summoners War. So nga lang huli na eh. Dapat last week ko pa to ginawa para na-encourage ko kayong maglaro kasi namimigay na sila ngayon ng mga SSR ng mga monsters saka ng mga premium draw tickets para sa mga tao.
Okay, I am going to be doing some editing over this part. No, I'm not gonna cut it out. I'm just gonna like...
This is ito lang yung hidden agenda ko dito, guys. Ito na talaga.
Okay, anyway, I think that means we have made it on YouTube because we now have...
Yeah, yung 15 subscribers yun, pag i-impluensyahan ko yun na mag-Summoners War, malaking bagay na yun for the community.
Papagalitan ako ni Silly.
Sorry.
Pinalaki kitang tama tapos ganyan lang ipapakita mo sa akin. Jessica.
Sobrang random lang eh. Sobrang random.
Intermission.
Yeah, nag-expect yata kayo ng profound discussion. Tapos naging commercial na lang siya.
No, that's fine. That's fine kasi I mean
actually yun yung dahilan kung bakit ako nag-stream kasi gusto ko lang talaga sana i-share yung passion ko about gaming and to share it with other people. Kaya nga sana talaga may nag-engage. Tunto ako tuwing may nag-engage sa akin dun sa stream pag may nagko-comment. Tapos talagang pag nagtanong sila na parang gusto kong i-share kung gaano kaganda yung fighting game and kung gaano kaganda yung Summoners War ngayon lang ako nagkaroon ng lakas na loob na na i-share siya sa mga tao sa Facebook kasi parang feeling ko wala naman siya masyadong following pero naisip ko, fuck it, parang yun naman yung purpose ng page ko parang hindi naman siya to monetize parang gusto ko lang talagang share yung mga games na nilalaro ko.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of like that for this channel. That's pretty much the whole mission statement. If we can even call it that. Ewan ko, it's literally okay, this is what we're doing right now. And I think that's the kind of thing about content creation as like being a content creator on YouTube or anywhere.
Yung philosophy ko na yun about content creation, parang ninakaw ko lang yung kay Nihongo Gamer eh.
Hindi si Nihongo Gamer.
Kilala niyo ba yun? Do you watch him?
I know.
If you're familiar.
I know of him.
So parang tinakal niya yun sa kung why you should go into content creation na parang dapat ang pinaka-importanting part doon is dapat kaya ka nagko-content creation is gusto mong gumawa ng content na yun. Hindi dahil parang hindi may void na information dito tapos kailangan nating i-fill yung void na yun eh. Hindi.
Yeah, no.
Hindi dapat yun. Parang mababurnout ka eventually doon kasi dapat yung sole purpose kung bakit ka mag-produce ng content is gusto mo talaga gumawa ng content na yon. Kasi parang, kunyari, as of recording nito, gumawa kami ng stream ni Hez. May times na 1 or 2 viewers lang to 0 viewers lang. Pero fuck it. Yun yung gusto namin gawin na content eh. Tapos pag nag-produce din ako ng Summoners War content, gumawa ako ng maayos na tutorial, 9-minute tutorial, tapos medyo inedit ko. Tapos good for newbies siya. Tapos, ay naka 400 views. Tapos nung chinek ko, wala man lang umabot na, tinignan ko yung 1 minute views ko. Wala man lang umabot ng 1 minute. So, ibig sabihin, sobrang underappreciated do.
They clicked it and then just clicked away.
Parang, okay, wala. Hindi nila gusto. So, pero, okay lang kasi ginawa ko yung content na gusto ko. Parang regardless, Tapos kung gusto ko namang magkaroon ulit ng views, pwede mo ako mag-highlight videos ulit eh.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about this is that parang one of the things that motivated me to go on with this whole channel plan with Sele was the fact that I actually just wanted an excuse to start editing videos again. No,
Nice.
seriously, a lot of the things I do in like for creative things is for practice. Kahit ano man yan, if it's for music production or making graphics or for editing videos or mga stuff na ginagagawa ko all this time in for the last few years. And there are other channels
Hanapin yun. Mag-scavenger hunt kayo dun sa mga other channels ni Hez. Tapos comment nyo sa baba kung ano yung mga nahanap nyo para mas ma-expose natin. Yung mga secret channels ni Hez na ayaw niyang malaman natin. Ano yun? SoundCloud, tsaka...
No, the SoundCloud is public.
Public ba yun? Basta, hanapin nyo.
Hindi naman siya secret. I'm talking about this Wait lang. I'm gonna show this one. Hindi Kasi,
okay lang to. Okay lang ipakita niya sa akin to. Kasi hindi naman makikita dahil podcast format
audio,
naman.
yeah, it's audio. But I mean, it's this channel. Like, this is the one that's been named after me. Ito yung sinasabi ko.
Hindi naman... Kung hindi nila alam na yan yung name mo, mukhang play lang siya on another famous production company eh.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah. I actually forgot that...
Hindi ko sinabi. Pero,
Yeah.
pero clue na yun, guys. Clue na yun.
But there's another channel na secret. That one I actually lost the login details to. Yung original na YouTube channel. That's the one where actually hindi ka nadamay nun eh. Because that YouTube channel has videos of us. Well, us at least. Kami, as I mean, ako. Or at least taken by me.
Wala akong pakialam sa mundo nun eh. Sobrang recluse ko nun yan.
Yeah, 07. Like, or around the time na... There was a time where I kind of just wanted to make movies, quote-unquote movies. And then, like, I roped the neighbors into some really... Like, okay, in retrospect, I'm like, okay, I think lumalabas talaga yung magiging like super control freak ko as a kid. And I'm like, I kind of
It was fun.
I kind of wanted to distance myself from that part of it, especially because of a certain thing that I did with the neighbors that I regret doing now. I super cringe at the idea of me even trying to like do that as a kid, and
memories.
I am talking about the Big Brother videos. Yung parang supposedly nang ginaya ko ang PBB supposedly, and by supposedly I mean not at all. It does not resemble PBB in any way.
It resembled PBB dun sa pananaw mo nung time na yun.
Oh, at the time. Oh, but the thing is like no. That is not what it is. And but to be fair, a lot of good things came out of that era din sa buhay ko. And one of them is the fact that for some reason I kind of was able to finish this sprawling, tenuously executed, very confusing as hell na quote-unquote feature film that I did with my friends.
Basically, he was Nagi from Hayate Combat Butler, except movies instead of comics. Kung ako ay weeb, level 40% of a weeb lang ako ni Hes. Konti lang yung konti lang alam ko sa sa weeb culture eh.
You're more of what I would think a weeb acts like. Kasi what Sele would call that category and that I belong in is like post weeb. Kasi we have gone beyond appreciating Japanese culture and moved on to the territory that is, yes, it exists. Ganon na lang sa amin yun eh. Like, it's just there. I'm not sure if there's a distinction, pero I mean, to be fair, like, we're not I'm not sure if
Like right now,
there's a usefulness
hindi ko
to
na
that
yung
kind
alam,
of.
hindi ko na alam yung mga ano eh, yung mga
Pero
yung mga-
okay, but what I will say, sorry, go. You're saying.
hindi ko na alam yung mga latest anime tapos from 2008, 2009, parang hindi ko na masyadong na-follow yung
Current
na
scene.
anime culture.
Mm.
Tapos sobrang ano na ako. Hindi ko na alam. Nalulungkot nga ako nung nag-recap ng yung The Last Decade. Tapos oh my God,
You did not know any of these.
madami akong hindi alam. Tapos parang sobrang konti na lang yung alam ko, like siguro isa o dalawa na lang.
Well, ewan ko.
Nag-shift na din ako from anime to just following a few manga. Tapos nagka-follow na lang din ako ngayon ng American TV shows.
Actually, yun ang pinakamalaking transition na ginawa mo eh.
Yeah. Pero siguro yung fact kasi na kailangan mong pag nanonood ka ng anime is, unless marunong ka mag-Japanese, is kailangan medyo nakatuto ka. Tapos mahirap yun, lalo na kung gusto mo lang naman sanang panoorin ay comedy slice of life anime. Hindi mo pwedeng hindi katulad sa mga American shows na pwedeng in the background mo lang siya.
Like, I still watch US TV shows with subtitles on. As much as possible.
Ako din. Depende. Depende kung drama
But for different reasons. It's more of like, my brain has a capacity, has a tendency to want text being on the screen. Ang actually sa totoo lang, as someone who's learning Japanese at this moment, ang pinaka gusto ko sanang gawin is to actually somehow be able to watch Japanese things with Japanese subtitles in them.
Nice.
Ganun sana ang gusto kong gawin. But I'm not sure if like, kasi closed captioning isn't that much of a thing kasi in Japan eh.
Pero to be fair naman, although hindi na ako masyadong nanonood ng mga Japanese shows, pag na-consume ako ng content, parang I like to talk about it.
Oh yeah,
Yun talaga
in that aspect kasi, like, that's what I was going to say kanina din kasi, that I still think that Kuro is like pretty much more acting like yung expectation ng pagiging weeb.
So, tapos parang selective na lang yung, at least konti na lang yung,
Although konti na lang yung
kunyari,
like, but that's fine. I mean, but we're both anime boomers at this point.
Like
Naman,
yung,
we're not going to sugarcoat it. Matanda na kami.
yeah. Like
Well, okay, we're not really really old, but I mean,
Hez is not, but I am. So yun, yung Haikyuu, ayun yung pinaka-fina-follow ko na anime content ngayon.
it is not a secret that Kuroshiroe is a Haikyuu Oshi.
What's a Haikyuu Oshi? I don't even know that.
Na Oshi in general just means na you are a stan of something.
Okay. So, ayun,
Even then, that feels a little bit reductive to use Oshi and stan in the same
Yeah.
sentence. But I mean, it's a fan of something.
okay. Tanyo, not a weeb. Hindi ko alam yung mga terminologies ng mga
Okay, to be
mga
fair,
bata ngayon.
that term doesn't come from weeb culture. It comes from pop music.
Okay. Yung stan yung nagigets ko pa kasi yun yung ginagamit namin sa K-pop eh.
Oshi is just more of idol culture,
Okay.
specifically.
Yun nga, tama
That's
ka.
another
Stan,
conversation.
Tama ka, stan nga yung stan nga yung analog niya. Yeah, like pipilitin ko converse sa mga tao ng Haikyuu na hindi naman talaga nanonood ng Haikyuu
This includes me.
Yeah, just to get them to oh my God, nangyari.
Okay lang. That's fine.
Just to get them to watch it or at least appreciate it. At ina-apply ko yung mga natututunan ko sa Haikyuu sa totoong buhay. Like may friend ako na dati siyang sports writer, tas sinusubukan siyang pagsulatin ng article tungkol sa volleyball. Yung may time na nag-host tayo ng international event dito ng volleyball. Tapos parang hirap siyang ma-motivate kasi parang ang boring ng volleyball sa kanya. Tapos parang para at least para sa kanya, sobrang simple ng gameplay ng volleyball. Like, you receive, you set, and then you spike.
You don't get to see the nuances of how
Yun
exactly players move, where players have to be, kung saan titirahin yung bola, and why some techniques are better than others.
Yeah, tapos yun yung pinaliwanag ko sa kanya using concepts that I learned from Haikyuu. Tapos hindi lang ako basta naniniwala lang sa sinasabi ng Haikyuu kasi I played volleyball in high school and I can somehow confirm the mechanics of the show. Tapos nagulat siya na, okay, ganyan pala kalalim. Tapos feeling ko mas madami ka pang nasasabi kaysa dun sa mga ibang coaches dun sa mismong game. Sa ibang mga writers.
That feels like it's on you as opposed to yung, I'm not gonna say that I think it's less of the fact na ganun ang pagkakasulat ng Haikyuu and more of you.
Ganun talaga yung pagkakasulat ng Haikyuu kasi madami din ako hindi alam sa yung isang conversation natin habang pauwi tayo one time. If I watched Haikyuu nung nag-volleyball pa ako, parang sobrang daming mahalagang bagay na tinuturo na nasabi doon na pwede mo may apply actually in real game. Tapos actually nung naglaro nga ako ng volleyball, injured na ako. Na-apply ko yung middle blocker techniques saka yung paano mag-keep track ng ball and all. Tapos hindi ko alam kung totoo to, pero may nakita ko na dati wala lang masyadong naglalaro ng volleyball sa high school sa Japan. Tapos biglang tumaas ulit.
I'm probably going to research that
after
the fact.
Fact check na lang. Tapos nag-coincide siya doon sa time na lumabas yung Haikyuu na manga. Tapos yung next boom ay yung time na may lumabas na yung Haikyuu na anime. Yeah, so sobrang yun nga. So yun nga, konti na lang yung mga kino-consume ko na anime, pero ayun, sobrang tutok. Sobrang
you just go really deep into it.
Tapos ko-consume ako ng kung ano-anong mga YouTube content regarding that.
Okay, YouTube content. What content anyway? What are people getting into nowadays?
At least for me, ako, yung mga video essays ako natutuwa. Last Airbender, video essays.
Oh yeah, apparently it's on Netflix now.
Totoo ba? Matagal na.
Bakit kaya lumalabas ulit sa Facebook yung mga ganong nung photo? It's probably worldwide or something.
Ewan ko, applicable kasi yung mga...
Anyway, so sorry, you were saying na video essays.
Yeah, video essays, like, in particular sa Haikyuu. Like, yung mga themes na gusto kong i-discuss, like, yung nuances ng mga iba't ibang characters, like, So, pasensya na sa mga hindi nanonood ng Haikyuu. Sobrang hindi makaka-relate sa nagsasabi na to. Like,
again, like the whole concept of this show is like, may nadatnan lang kayong conversation.
Yeah. Kasi may isang gustong episode sa Haikyuu, yung episode 12 ng season 1, which is yung episode on first round ng preliminary sa nationals. So, basically, it talks about two matches, yung match ng Karasuno Boys saka match ng Karasuno Girls. Pero instead na yung perspective ay dun sa winning team, which is yung Karasuno Boys, ang perspective ay dun sa tinatalo nila. So parang sa akin, hindi naman na profound yung perspective shift na yun from the winning team na main character versus the losing team. Pero yung natutuwa kasi ako na tinik nila na perspective is, nga, sa buong bansa ng Japan that time, on that day, 50% ng dreams ng mga players ay mag-e-end. And nag-train silang lahat, nag-practice silang lahat, tapos nag-dream sila to go to nationals and all. Pero lahat sila natalo. Tapos, ang natutuwa ko doon yung feeling na kahit na natalo sila, nag-exist sila, tapos naglaro sila ng volleyball. Tapos sobrang nakaka-trigger yun sa akin. Tapos may gumawa ng essay tungkol doon. Although hindi yung pinaka-point na yun yung, parang ginamit niya lang as sub-point yun to prove another
more main overarching
Oh,
point about.
yun na about sa what is the point of Haikyuu? What is the motivation of Haikyuu?
It's all about a deep yearning and need to be on the court. It's a line that is repeated numerous times throughout the series. If we keep winning and don't get eliminated, we can play more volleyball. This in itself is the main reward for these players. The attraction of winning volleyball games is to play more of it, simply because they love it and it's their passion.
勝ちたい理由？負けたくないことに理由っている？なあ影山、負けたくない理由ってわかる？
あ、知るかそんなもん。腹が減って飯が食いたいことに理由があんのか。俺が何かに絶望するとしたらバレエができなくなった時だけだ。
Basta magaling si Alex Sandser yung gumagawa ng ng mga video essays. Hindi lang siya sa Haikyuu gumagawa, pati sa Hunter x Hunter, Gintama, just Fate Stay Night din. Gumagawa din siya ng mga video essays tungkol doon. So yun yung mga primarily yun yung mga kino-consume ko, maliban sa mga college humor na mga pero yeah, mostly video essays tsaka tutorial sa Tekken. Yun yung mga kino-consume ko na content.
Talagang, ito yung isang tao na nagseryoso talaga sa fighting games eh.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, it does feel a little weird to be seeing it from this side, but then again, at the same time, I cannot really judge myself kasi alam ko that I myself have been a gamer on an even more niche community for what I'd like to say like 13, 14 years.
Ano yung mga lalaro mo? Yung mga lalaro mo competitively?
Oh, okay. Ito yung nakakainis na part. I can't play it at a competitive level. I'm not good enough for that.
Ako din.
No. Yung nakikita mo na yun, yeah, no, that is still far from competitive level. Intermediate level play siguro.
Yeah, yun nga.
Although one thing that I kind of like have come to accept about me as a 2DX player is that, okay, I play at a level where like everyone's gonna be like extremely bewildered and impressed about, okay, well, how is this guy hitting all the buttons? I mean, that's pretty much the reaction I get from everyone at this point. Pero I played rhythm games for fun. I never was in it to be the best or play competitively because I knew from the start na parang hindi. Or like seeing these games be played in a competitive level really makes you think about what must go into these people. And it's a thing about rhythm games that I find like very interesting kasi biruin mo. It has to be like an incredibly specific skill for you to be able to hit notes in time with hit buttons in time with music. Pero like in a way that's like very dense patterns over a 7-note keyboard with a turntable for one, or a different set of keys and then my lever, or merong touchpad, touchscreen with buttons in it. Or if you go to something more demanding, like say like DDR, Dance Dance Revolution, or Puppet Up, the dance games, Dance Rush Stardom. These games actually reward you to be like very physically active, and like if you've seen high level DDR play, you'll know na parang like how fit do these people have to be to even do the things that they're doing? Because I mean, I'll show him a video of this year's KAC tournament later. Kasi talagang, because by the end of that set, nakikita mo talaga sa camera na andun sila, di ba? Andun yung stage.
Yeah.
Sabi sa podium na like, nakahilata na lang sila doon afterwards. I'm serious.
So sa tingin ko, ba't hindi isama ang DDR sa Olympics? Or ba't hindi i-recognize ang DDR as a legit sport?
It's almost there eh. Kasi I think
yun nga eh.
that's what Bimani wants to do eh. It really wants to be seen as an e-sport.
Hindi, sa tingin ko nga, as a really legit na sport, as a physical sport.
Well,
kasi it is more taxing than para kang sprint eh. Kasi I played DDR at least.
Yeah, we both
No, pero not the same level as you. pero I play DDR, tapos hindi pa yung sobrang intense na na level. Parang why not tapos lang yung third setting ng difficulty. Yun yung kaya ko.
Dun lang din actually ako.
Third, totoo ba?
I play...
Di ba may fourth at fifth ba yun?
Fourth. Okay. So, the expert charts. Fine, sige.
Kaya, so yun, sa third lang hanggang third difficulty.
Difficult. Shit.
So hindi ko pa kaya. Tapos yung love shine yung pinipilit kong masayaw, ma-play.
Yeah, it's nice that you still remember the specific charts.
Yeah. Kasi masaya naman. Tapos yun, sobrang taxing niya na task. As in, after ng isang buong session, nanginginig yung tuhod ko and legs ko and all. Tapos hindi naman yun, tapos parang feeling ko mas nakakapagod pa yun kaysa isang buong game ng volleyball. Kasi I can play volleyball. I can play table tennis right now ng 5 sets at hindi ko mararamdaman yung same level ng leg exhaustion ng isang set ng DDR.
3 songs basically.
Yeah, 3 songs.
A very interesting thing to me that happened recently. Well, this couldn't have happened unless the quarantine did happen. But there was a dance game streamer, si Happy Feets. And na-invite siya to... I don't know how this exactly happened. Pero if you're familiar with Games Done Quick...
Hindi.
GDQ?
No.
Okay. So, basically... in a Games Done Quick stream, I mean, as the name implies, the speedrunning community gathers together and basically presents their speedrun live in front of an audience. So it's basically like a donation stream. It's the events are live streamed from a venue, dati. And it's basically like a donation drive. So, but it's like a telethon na para, okay, so we are maglilikon kami ng donations for certain charities, etc. That's pretty much the point of these games. But it ended up being one of the symbols of the speedrunning community in general. I'm not sure how right this is. So if the internet is here, feel free to correct me. But it's a very high-profile event.
Pwede mo namang i-fact check later.
Yeah, going back to this dance game streamer, si Happy Feets. He owns a dance game cabinet.
Nice.
He owns a Pump It Up cabinet sa bahay niya.
Which bastard.
Ginawa talaga niya hobby yun talaga for game streaming because so players all around the world, pero kung sino man ang napadaan sa kanila, okay, I want to play Pump at your house, so he just lets them play Pump for free. So parang ganun siya. So is that kind of like streamer. He used to be a competitive player, but he stopped playing in tournaments because he kind of like nagkaroon siya ng burnout with the competitive scene. And I can see why at the time.
Hindi ako familiar
Na it's just basta naging casual streamer na siya afterwards. But he still plays competitive level Pump.
Nice.
And is seen to be one of the best players in the game in general.
Hindi nagpa-participate sa...
Hindi na talaga siya nagpa-participate sa tournaments anymore. And recently, na-feature siya on one of these events. So parang, ang very interesting nga nito, that, kasi these events are not very well known to feature rhythm games at all. So talagang bagong-bago lang talaga siya. It's interesting to me that recently rin, na nagkakaroon din ng research in the popularity of rhythm arcade games at least, in the US. Ever since arcade cabinets started becoming more and more of a thing towards the US. Ever since 2016-ish, 2017, when DDR Ace started to actually be nagkaroon na ng official American version ng game na yun. So meaning talagang nabuhay ulit yung dance game community ng US in general. So I think that's gonna open a lot of doors to the to other rhythm games, and that to me is very special.
Kasi at least yan yung feeling namin, at least feeling ko yan yung feeling ng fighting game community nung lumabas yung Street Fighter 4, which is parang feeling namin ito na yung magliligtas sa ito na yung magliligtas sa FGC. Although to be fair, Tekken was there the whole time. Tapos siya yung nakikip together ng FGC as the only premier fighting game nung time na
So
yun.
for the longest time talaga,
wala.
it was just Tekken 6.
Tekken 6, Tekken 5. Yun yung mga
And the arcade
Tekken.
version of Tekken Tag.
yun. Tekken Tag. Yun yung mga nagdadala hanggang sa dumating si Street Fighter 4.
For the this is for the arcade scene. So hiwalay pa to dun sa in-gen PC/console gaming scene, iba pa yun eh.
Actually sa console scene siya mas
So mas naging popular si Street Fighter 4 sa console scene.
console tsaka sa arcade. Pero kasi yung FGC kasi hindi katulad ng DDR na arcade cabinets yung ginagamit yung for competitions.
Yeah, exclusively because there is no home version of as of this video, there is no home version for DDR. Well, there's a technicality. May kakalabas lang na alpha test for a PC client for DDR, but that doesn't count yet. It's an alpha test.
So ayun, parang long time ago na kasi parang give up na yung arcade cabinets to be used sa FGC. Noon pa console na yung ginagamit nila. So hindi naman issue yun. Ang nag-isa lang yata na gumagamit ng arcade cabinet is Master Cup in Korea. Master Cup in Korea ba or Japan? Master Cup in Japan yata.
I'll just look it up.
Na arcade cabinets talaga yung ginagamit nila. Tapos, may isang event, yung unang Tekken World na event, ay arcade cabinets din yung ginagamit nila nung nasa Japan na sila. So, parang yun lang naman yung gumagamit ng arcade cabinets. Aside from that, mostly consoles na lang talaga. And for me, exciting kung yan yung nangyari ngayon sa rhythm game scenes. That is exciting. Kasi kung same yan yung mangyari sa FGC, biglang boom din yan ulit.
We'll see. And
Sana.
Well, this pandemic thing has really gotten to be a huge downer dun sa arcade scene because it's an arcade scene.
May YouTuber akong pinapanood na nag-launch siya ngayon sa Korea. Korea ng streaming studio niya tsaka fighting game place niya. Mag-host ng tournament sa baba, tapos may streaming tsaka video editing class and production company dun sa taas. Tapos so, oh my God, ngayon dapat mag-launch yung company niya na yun. So, sana mabuhay pa siya. And isa pa man din siya sa pinakamagandang mag-produce ng content sa fighting game community, si Kuroshiroe Gaming. Kung gusto nyong tignan what fighting game community is all about, try watching Why Button Mashing Doesn't Work na video ni Kuroshiroe Gaming and why fighting games is better than fighting sports. Parang yun yung videos in how to recruit someone into the fighting game community.
So, ayun, I guess your mobile game aside.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of already established na yung niches natin in the gaming communities at least. So at least yun din.
Pero natutuwa ko yung niche natin na games ay hindi sila popular. I mean,
wait.
Fighting game is not popular compared to kung ano ba yung mga popular ngayon. What I'm talking about is MOBAs, tsaka yung RTS, tsaka FPS na games. Nandun yung pera, nandun yung support, nandun yung fanbase. Tapos, compared sa kanila, sobrang niche ng fighting game community.
As a bagay, kasi one thing that I did notice about the fighting game community was that I think it's very much puro core fan bases na talaga per game. So here's a question that I want to ask though. Are the core fan bases of fighting games, do they intersect? Nag-intersect ba talaga sila or you're more likely to see the trend na like fan ka ng BlazBlue, so you're pretty much a BlazBlue fan versus you're a fan of a Guilty Gear game or a Unist.
Yung nakikita ko yung mga anime fighters, parang nag-intersect sila. Pero yung Street Fighter and yung Tekken, parang bihira yung naglalaro ng although may mga naglalaro ng both, pero kumbaga either sobrang casual ka sa isa compared dun sa isa.
And then, there's
Pero
also...
pero kahit na hindi masyado nag-intersect hindi nag-intersect yung fan bases ng ibang mga fighting games. May sense of solidarity kasi yung fighting game community na parang okay, may kumbaga kung religion to, parang FGC yung main religion sorry. FGC main religion, tapos may denominations lang yung iba't ibang mga games. Bali may anime fighters, yung doon kasama yung Dragon Ball Fighters, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Guilty Gear, yung mga sobrang daming nangyayari, screen filler na actions.
Screen filler.
Sobrang dami nangyayari. Sobrang nakakatawa.
That's a very, okay.
Yun yung derogatory term namin na mga hindi naglalaro masyadong anime fighters. So okay lang naman yun. Tapos yung mga old people sa Street Fighter, tapos yung mga Tekken na naglalaro. Parang may pakialam kami sa isa't isa na parang gusto namin nag-grow yung community ng bawat isa.
And then there are like the old school guys, like the King of Fighters, SNK era fighters.
Actually, bumabalik sila ngayon. Yung Marvel vs. Capcom 2, sobrang grabe yung community na yun. Sobrang luma na ng game na yun. Kasi Marvel vs. Capcom 2, nagkaroon na ng Marvel vs. Capcom 3, tapos nagkaroon ng Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Tapos, na-cancel na kasi yung EVO ngayon, which is the highest level profile na fighting game competition na nire-recognize namin sa FGC. Wala yung main Marvel vs. Capcom games, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tsaka Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Tapos ang kasama yung Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Sobrang nadala lang ng community yung game
because
na yun.
People kept supporting the game.
Oh.
I mean, I think that speaks to, for example, like the infamous longevity of Super Smash Bros. And Melee specifically.
Tapos yun pa last year nag-fuse yung community ng Super Smash Melee tsaka Super Smash Brawl. Nag-fuse na sila.
Akala ko they were like forever feuding for the longest time.
Nag-fuse sila dahil sa Switch, tapos ginawa nilang yung Ultimate, Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, Smash Ultimate.
Tapos yun na lang, wala nang Melee. Tapos nag-fuse sila. Tapos biglang tinalo nila yung Tekken, tinalo nila yung Street Fighter sa overall number ng contestants sa EVO. Ganun, sobrang nakakilabot na time for the Smash community.
So the Smash Melee is best Smash game feud is over?
Yes, wala na. Tapos yun, nag-fuse yung competitive base nila. Na-recognize nila na ito na yung main na Smash na game. Tapos sobrang ganda na move nun. Nag-support na din kasi si Nintendo eh. Tapos di na sila a-holes about the game eh. Dati kasi ayaw nung creator na ginagawang competitive yung Smash Brawl eh. Tapos ngayon, hindi, sige. Tagapin na natin na kailangan talaga natin ng mga grassroots competitions. So, ayun.
No, well, to be fair, kasi that basically came about with the Switch, the release of the Switch changed everything eh, kasi.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so magdi-detour tayo because of a certain Nintendo property that Nintendo tried to make happen, then forgot, and then it's time to make happen again. ARMS.
Meron pa ba yun?
Here's the thing. They're trying to make it happen again because they're adding ARMS Fighter to Smash.
No.
Ang weird din, di ba, we know that the next DLC fighter passes for Smash has 6 members. In the last Nintendo Direct, like, they outright said na, the next fighter is going to be someone from ARMS. And then bigla ang mangyari na lang is, we are also planning an ARMS tournament, official ARMS tournament. It's like, Where was this 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Last year? When the game needed it? Parang ganun. Parang, if you really wanted to make people care about ARMS, then yun sana ginawa nila. Pero that's long aside.
Yeah. Lang din eh. Pero syempre makaliak ako as if may Switch ako, tsaka as if part ako ng Smash community.
I'm sorry. Outside, I'm just looking at this from someone who also is not been playing has been playing Nintendo games.
Actually, Smash is a good fighting game. Kasi pwede siya maging party game. Sorry sa mga Smash players. Pwede siya maging party game, tapos pwede din siya maging competitive game. It has that going for it. Kasi yung iba, either sobrang competitive base niya,
or super casual.
Tapos
one is the
Smash
art-
can be both. Sobrang
Kaya siguro ganun yun. Kasi for the longest time, that's what I've personally thought about Smash. Kasi it's not necessarily a very conventional fighting game,
Yeah.
but it's treated as one. So,
may certain settings ka lang sa modes niya, tapos maging one of the best competitive modes na siya. Kasi kaya lang naman siya nagiging party game dahil may items, tas may stages na random na mga stuff na nagkakaroon. So, basically, tanggalin mo lang yung mga parts na yon. Competitive na yung game mo. May advanced mechanics siya like wave dashing, tapos may mga invincibility frames din siya.
I don't know.
Yun nga eh.
I thought the whole wave dash concept was a platformer thing.
Wave dash is pag nagda-dash ka kasi sa fighting game, parang may recovery animation yung pag-stop mo. Tapos pwede mo i-cancel yung recovery animation na yun by pushing down. Or sa iba,
So basically,
ika-cancel mo yung
it's basically
animation.
like a common staple of fighting games is the animation cancel, the
Yeah.
frame priority things, yung mga number crunching stuff na talaga.
Pero pwedeng yun yung naasar yung mga normal, yung mga casual players. Actually, sa mga competitive, parang kina-crunch daw nila into numbers yung fighting games. Pero sa totoo lang, kahit naman alam mo yung mga numbers na yun, wala din namang silbi. Kasi feel talaga yung fighting games. At least for me. Kasi may one of the best Tekken players in the Philippines, he doesn't know frames. Sinasabi niya na hindi niya alam yung frame ng ganito. Basta parang pinapakiramdaman niya lang, tapos situational niya lang natututunan. So, technically can learn fighting games and be the best at it without learning
Advanced mechanics like that.
matututunan mo siya. Kailangan alam mo yung advanced mechanics, pero hindi mo kailangan malaman yung exact numbers. Kasi pwede mo naman siyang matutunan while playing the game. Basta may good proper teacher ka lang na magko-collect ng mga mistakes mo. Tapos yun, pwede naman. Tapos, yun yung mga
Yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah. Going back to our side of the of the spectrum. Other side of the rhythm game community in general kasi just nagkaroon ulit ng scene, kind of. Kasi ever since what I'd like to call the rhythm game renaissance of 2016,
na part ka.
I was part of that, yeah. I was part of the people who had witnessed it.
Part ka ng di ba part yung group niya into reviving it?
Yep, I guess. Pero, I mean, through word of mouth, siguro. But the thing was, even up until nung na-establish na ulit yung rhythm game community, there's not many of us eh. Parang, pwede mo kaming bilangin under, maybe, let's say, less than 1,000 total. It does seem like it's that case. Especially because, ang pinakamalaking, ang barrier to entry is the fact that arcade games are expensive. So medyo kailangan ng high upkeep to be even going out to the arcade to play these games regularly. And second, actually, one thing that complicates matters is that number to me doesn't take into account yung kung sino man ang naglalaro ng mobile and PC-based rhythm games. I will not say kung alin sila. Because there's less of an interaction between people who play arcade games and people who play exclusively mobile and PC. Most people play both, pero the thing kasi is nangyayari is mas concentrated yung mga tao dun sa if you're playing one, you're playing the other, or you're playing wala.
May discrimination ba sa community nyo with regards to yun nga, yung mga mobile players saka yung mga mobile and PC players and arcade players?
Only, okay, medyo ano lang kami, bully kami ng mga Osu players eh. Ako.
Grabe,
We-
discrimination.
Well, no, I'm not gonna say na I hate people who play Osu. I don't hate the game. It's more of the fact that the culture the game encourages was bad.
Ano yung mong sabihin doon?
Nangyari kasi is that let's ang madalas kong ginagawa na analogy dito is there are two engines that I like to call. Una is Stepmania. Stepmania was originally meant to be a simulator for DDR.
Yeah.
But as the years went on, it became way more than that. When the Stepmania 3.9 to Stepmania 5 transition happened, nagkaroon na ng different focus yung dev teams. I say teams because there are multiple. Kasi there are lots of like forks and because the whole project is open source. It has always been since the beginning. Na iba-iba interpretation nila on what to do with the Stepmania engine. But the fact is, it's ever since the beginning, it has always been just an engine. Like it was more of there was no Stepmania community aside from people who made the step files for the game, yung mga simulations of DDR step files or yung mga actual na fan-made na content. But at the same time, there was already a clear divide na talagang Stepmania would always be known as the simulator and parang it would be treated as such talaga na that we were always in it for there's also an awareness that this is not meant to replace DDR or any other like like PC rhythm game. Also does not have such a thing, has such a limitation. The game is in and of itself built to be a recreation of a DS game called Ostakai Owendan. But the thing is, the game started to develop an image of its own. Na it was a original rhythm game na even though none of its content was original by definition, it was considered to be a game. Parang are you getting at now, no?
Yeah.
Like the copyright gray area was always present in things like that enable use of third party content. That is always true of things like Stepmania and OS and Beat Saber and every other game that allows you to use third party content. But ang problematic lang na part ng Osu culture was that the fact that such a thing, yung paggagawa ng content for the game was actually treated as being integral to its identity in a way that it's not for Stepmania. Kasi, like, okay, you can always just make original songs for Stepmania. You could have always done that. You could have properly licensed it. People have used the Stepmania engine to make specific licensed games, such as like Pump It Up Infinity, for example, or Stepmaniacs, which is based off of a completely different dev build ng And with that, parang di ba magkakaroon ka na ibang standards na ang problem kasi is that I know this song because I know this song. Parang even though it's been used to make a Stepmania step file. Pero if may culture ang Osu na this song is from Osu because or if there is a rhythm game song from another game or a song that sounds like that, sounds like whatever could be found in that rhythm game. Also, someone make an Osu chart of this because this song has to be in Osu. Parang ang interesting thing ng like I like the dedication. Like I hate using the word problematic but that's kind of exactly what it is. Kasi nagkaroon din kasi ng like image yung game na parang we are our own thing. Na parang na even though everything behind it is kind of ripping off of other game modes.
Parang yan yung Mugen. Also is the Mugen 2 fighting games.
Parang ganon, in a sense, Ganon ba, may ganon ba repetition ng Mugen sa
No,
FGC? also was kind of intended to be the Mugen of fighting games because it had simulators for classic modes, which is click circles, which it had support for Taiko and now Osomania, which is basically yung falling notes down lane mode. Which is, I think, what most people play it as now. Pero the thing is, I think a lot of people kind of switched over to a different simulator called Eterna, which is based off of Stepmania. I think if there's a community of like keyboard players, yung talagang rhythm game that's specifically about like notes, I think nagpunta na ang mga tao sa Eterna. I don't play Eterna myself, but I know people who do. So ayun, so parang there's a tenuous lang na relationship between that kasi parang there's an unspoken na rule in games where you have to use third party content to make your game. Na di ba in Stepmania, this is a simulation of DDR. So this serves as a kind of like a concept of what happens if that song could be on DDR or something like that. Parang ganun, or an implementation of what happens if this song is on X PC rhythm game. That's what I think the Stepmania community largely is. They appropriate third-party content but do so on a pretense that hindi naman kasi talaga siya its own rhythm game so it's not But at the same time, claiming something is from Osu even though it's not is parang
Hindi ako aware dun sa nuances na yun pero is it legal yung ginagawa ng mga Osu?
Kahit nga sa Stepmania, you break copyright laws at your own risk.
Diba? So yun nga. So,
but at the same time, at least, okay, I'm not gonna just harp on the negative side of this because I know that the Osu community has done something of a workaround to this in the form of their Osu featured artists program. Na what happens is since a lot of these songs by these artists are popular for popular material for people who make charts, nagkaroon na ng page ang game for artists you're allowed to use their work in the game. So may ganun na silang parang program na you are still allowed to chart any song you wish, but like break copyright law at your own risk. And at the same time, here are the list of artists na yung work nila is pwede mong gamitin. Parang ganun.
I think yung...
Ang interesting, it's not necessarily a license kasi I don't know how that process even works. So parang yun din kasi yun.
I think, at least from an outsider's perspective.
So I'm not gonna say na hindi naman siya completely negative because they tried to fix it naman. Anyway, so this should be it for this current episode muna. Next time, siguro we'll try and dig deeper into something else. I think I want to talk about other things such as you mentioned being a teacher aspect kasi parang there's something I kind of would want to lead into that the next time na mag-record tayo dito.
Okay.
Kasi like yung interplay between you being yung experience of being a teacher and parang how does that like affect yung pagiging mo.
Hindi sila nag-overlap
Hindi sila nag-overlap. Pero anyway, that's probably a thing that I can just lead into.
Yeah. Sige.
So, let's kind of detour a bit an earlier time sa buhay namin. Na, like, Kuro always has known me as the guy who always carries a camera everywhere as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say yung...
Artistic na lang.
Would you call that artistic?
Basta creative na nerd. Kasi hindi lang ikaw hindi lang camera, parang ina-associate ko din sa yung music So basically lahat ng mga creative aspect. At least yung inisip ko at that time na creative avenues for a person. Ginagawa ni Hes nung bata ka?